Happy Saturday. Happy
Saturday.
300 fundraising for American Foundation for Suicide Prevention Day. We are currently at 7,250. This will be a stream of Zack Snyder's 2006 hit 300. It's not on HBO Max, so I have it on digital. So whatever format you guys have, I'll give you time to get that going. I know it's on Amazon, but I know a lot of you guys have Blu-rays and DVDs. So I'm going to give you next few minutes to calibrate that. When I think we're ready, we're going to go ahead and hit we'll hit play when for those of you who are Patrons, the link is in the Patreon description. Oh boy, the night's overnight.
Oh yes,
fucking tornado.
There is a topic that's going around social media that we are not going to. You probably all mostly seen it by now, but we are not going to get
two of them. I got the Sony situation, which every fanboy thinks that they're the guy. They're the guy to figure it out. And then I got this other situation that automatically tells me just where people want to steer certain conversations. I will make my argument against the nonsense without bringing up a certain thing, which it seems to be everybody's go-to when something happens with DC. But that's later on tonight. We're going to need all 4 fucking hours for that. Hi everybody, how are you doing?
We're not going to dwell on it right now because we're of course we're going to movie 300. So, but yes, we definitely okay, we got our first guest here. How's it going?
Okay, I don't know who Char is. You're under a different name.
Yeah, is this a new name, man? Yeah, your mic off, man.
Okay, well, when you're ready. Chappie.
Hey, guys. Just want to stop by and say hi to you guys.
Okay, thanks. Also, Scary Movie still sucks, man.
No, it's still worse.
Come on now. We're here for charity. All right, so yeah, we're going to be doing this. So right now, let me go ahead and bring up the screen. Let's see. Here we are.
Any plans on doing an Avatar watch along?
Right now, I'm trying to keep it limited to charity streams. We'll do other streams later on, but this particular time spot.
No, but before the TV show comes out, we want to.
I have no plans with it, but
we couldn't get through the whole show before Thursday anyway. Before that, so it's like we couldn't. We didn't have the window to go through all of the 3 seasons of Avatar, but I'll definitely be definitely be really again sharing my excitement for it in the countdown from now until Thursday, and so will this little lady, Erin. How's it going?
Who's that? Is there Erin in there?
Yeah,
we're filled up the window.
Right,
I thought you came into the chat.
Yeah,
you can send her.
The M Night one? Oh no, you don't want to watch that again.
I'll watch it. I will grumble a lot less about that than I will about Scary Movie, if you can believe that.
You know, Brad has a whole Scary Movie collection.
We all know you want
24 hours they play, right?
Oh, are you this is Spider-Man?
Of course it is. It's Quattro Machina's Shar Aznavour. Come on, I mean, you should know this by now.
Yeah. Recognize your voice, man.
How you guys doing? What have I been missing for the last couple of days here?
Not much.
Well, you're gonna definitely see some fireworks on the show tonight. But
there's some
the band, the hardened band list.
Didn't you guys see Madam Web yet?
I saw it. Yeah, I saw it. William saw it. And we kind of kept our thoughts sort of minimal because we wanted to save it for tonight. But we both have seen it.
All right.
Thumbs up or thumbs down? Without giving anything away.
I give it both hands up to I want the movie that was originally supposed to be the one that you released instead of the ham that you cut up and just threw out.
All right.
The movie, you can see that there was a point to why they conceived the movie to begin with, but they did not keep that in the movie, which is like I said, we'll be discussing that tonight because like I said, we're going to have some rules for tonight's show. Listen, guys, I love you all. But that part of that love is me not wasting your time and you not wasting ours. And some of the preambles to the 2 topics we're going to cover tonight, I'm not even going to bring them up on the screen. You
understandable.
Type them all you want to, but I am not going. If there are certain things that are part of the chat, be advised those are probably not going to get responded to by me. And obviously, I've already established one. The whole Soda should stop doing live action. you're automatically telling me that you're not here to have an intelligent conversation with me.
I had a conversation about that, but I'll save it for tonight.
Yeah. I don't need that view that much. I don't do that for a living. And obviously, the other one, and I'll just give you a hint of it. If you can't speak on this whole CW Lois and whatever thing going on tonight without bringing the Snyderverse into it, same rules apply. Same rules apply. All right. I'm
You're pretty loose on your rules, William. I know you like to play our guy with the rules, but
not tonight.
I can't.
Because in order to have a constructive conversation about either of these talk, the bullshit, you can't come in with stupid shit. We got 4 hours, but it goes by real quick when stupid shit comes across the screen.
So the 4-hour show is now the permanent.
Yeah, I like the 4 hour. It just gives us a lot of room to bring you guys in and then be a part of the show. Although tonight I might regret it. Hey, who knows?
We already got somebody bending the rules here.
Yeah, he's just fucking with me, right? I can tell when you're trolling too, by the way, but still, like I said,
bring up the comments
of
tonight.
I don't run from conversations, but we got to have some parameters.
How's everybody's week otherwise?
Pretty good.
Doing okay.
Yeah. Just like I just said, I had a bell test.
Everything. This has been a good week, man. Hasn't rained on me.
How'd you do on your test?
I did well, passed it. So, because Tong Sudo specifically, I started because I've been training for since I was 15. But I started back last January. So I'm about a year to change into it.
Tong Sudo is Chuck Norris, right?
Yeah.
Did you ever see that it was like it wasn't an MMA, but he had like a where 5 people had to line up and like they could fight each other, but they couldn't. There was like no grappling or no submissions holds. What was that called? Do you remember?
I couldn't tell you offhand.
But you remember what I'm talking about?
I think so. Yeah. I think so. Yeah, but I need to Google that to for a little bit of a refresher. I mean, but like what I do specifically is it's like his variant, American Tong Sudo that was founded by him. So it's you got the elements.
One question I do want to ask William, like, is Madam Web worse than Howard the Duck?
Hell no, it's not worse than Howard the Duck.
Howard the Duck is unsalvageable. You can be honest with you, and we'll go through this tonight. The steps. There is a way, a very clean way that you could take everything that they've done, and
how's it going, Clint?
Clint? How you doing, Clint? Fix that, and then you go forward. You just have to be able to commit to doing it. They have everything at their disposal to fix this. They just have to. And to be honest with you, the consequences for Sony is the fact that you don't lose money, so you're fine. Some of these companies, if they lose money, heads roll. They're not losing any money. They're gonna at very least break even on Madam Web, and they haven't lost money on any other Spider-Man stuff. So
on the good side of things, though, right? Like you got Fantastic Four announced, right? They're doing something with the X-Men, whether they close it out in Deadpool or whatever. You're gonna get the X-Men back in the main storyline. And then
and I hope with Deadpool, because I will go see because of the TVAs in it. That they got me there.
You think it's just gonna be Deadpool kills off the Marvel universe, but like Deadpool kills off the X-Men universe or something like that, or the Fox universes?
The thing about the X-Men thing is whenever they do their new X-Men, I enjoyed the Fox X-Men, but that ended. I actually
I'm saying, do you think they're gonna do in this Deadpool movie? Do you think you remember the comic book series?
Yeah,
Deadpool kills the Marvel.
I think they're gonna do something like it. I think they're going to start something like it, but I think they're going to resolve most of that in their Secret War storyline if that ever gets released. But I don't think they'll put all that weight. I think you'll get the recognition. This will be the beginning that something's happening, and I think the actual established characters that are left will
I just got finished signing the paperwork off for another payout, so there's going to be a new Sony or a new Disney Spider-Man. So I let them use my likeness, and then
okay.
So
let me see that contract. Everybody thinks they know what's in that contract. That the God Kevin Feige is
no. It's not like one of these actor contracts. Yeah. They have to pay me like big money to fucking use my likeness. You know what I mean?
Okay. So well, I need to know the rules and parameters. All right. Is everybody queued up on whatever device they?
Yep.
I'm on zeros.
All right, guys.
Let me know if my sound does the sound thing that it does sometimes.
All right. And I'll be in and out, so I'm not even on my good internet right now. So I'll be in and out.
You're on the Cox right now?
Yeah. So
get off that Cox, William. Sit somewhere else. Don't sit near those Cox.
All All right, let's get us to 0.
Actually, Cox is probably the better internet.
Not out in general, yeah.
US
not
West
out in this part of town. This part
Oh,
of
I
town,
know.
yeah. Cox.
It would go in and out.
As you get to downtownish area or where I am at. Yeah, they do not give a fuck about this part of town. They tell you that as much. Oh, I'm sorry, your building was built in the '60s. We'll give you some leftover. Here's some coax. Man, hey, you do it yourself. Here's some gloves and here's some clamps. You go fix your own cable, and we're going to charge you the same amount as if you were living in a mansion in Summerlin. Same price. There's your price break. Basically, fuck you to me. But you know what? That's fine. Let's go raise some money. All right, everybody ready? All right.
Yep.
My thing is loading again, so hold on. So I'm streaming on Fubo.
Okay.
If anybody's interested.
Yeah, I'm ready.
I got it on Fubo. I thought it was on HBO Max, but they hoard.
I thought
it was just like a couple weeks ago, right?
Yeah. Well, again, it's another thing where I say they just pull so much off there. It's like I'm wondering why I'm still subscribed.
I really hope, and this will be the last I talk of it. I really hope the next WB is watching everything that goes on when this current guy rides off into the sunset, and he's going to, because it's time for him. That they look at all this, and I hope it's a young guy, and by young I mean 55 and below. Somebody who's not from old Hollywood, because some of the stuff that they do is, it's like are you forward thinking at all? You guys are literally.
You mean Shazwa's gonna leave?
Eventually, yeah. All CEOs retire. I mean, hell, fucking Iger retired twice. But I think that as the stock hovers around that certain amount, I think he's going to look at the situation. He's going to go, or something's going to happen. You can't sustain what they're doing right now. With using the old tools, it will be like me trying to fix the Enterprise with a rock and a chisel. And that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to.
Sometimes all you need is a rock and a chisel.
Scotty always needed more than that. So
speaking of 300, there's an actual statue of Leonidas, and underneath on the base it says, "Come get them."
Yeah, no, because that's we'll get that when we get that part of the movie. But yeah, there is historical basis to that quote.
No, there's a statue. That's what I'm just saying.
Where you said it was where?
It's in Greece. Yeah.
Cool.
They made a statue of him.
How's it going, Droga?
You ready to go?
Yeah, I'm ready.
In the real world, not the 300 world.
All right, William, I'm counting on you.
All right, we're counting down from 3 to 1. All right, so is everybody good?
Yep.
3, 2, 1, play.
That's a success right there, William. That is a success.
A little bit small victories, man.
The small victories lead to the big wins. You know what I'm saying?
There we go, piece by piece. 2006, when before WB was.
Yes, I saw you trying to hop on there a minute ago, Aaron. So if you get those,
this came out in 2007, right?
It's 6.
Yeah, 2007.
Yeah.
Well, it came out like it started premiering to the press in 06, but it came out like March 07. Like it came out theatrically. Like
we are not watching Meet the Spartans.
We're not watching what?
Meet the Spartans.
We're not
no, not that one.
Not while I'm.
Don't bring that crap up.
We're gonna watch Meet the Terminators. Okay. Just for
we're gonna watch Scary Movie because that's
well, Scary Movie's better.
Brad, are you still mad about that, Brad? You gotta roll the punches, man. It's for a good cause.
Yes.
It's for a good cause. You get to shit on the movie the whole time too. So like you get paid, or we paid to, or not you get paid, but the charity got paid for us to shit on the movie. So it's all good.
Okay, I'll be dropping trout.
Scary Movie is actually funny. That one isn't.
I like the aesthetic of this movie. This and Sin City, it was certainly unique when they came out, and it really fit.
Sin City was like a comic book come to life.
That's what I'm saying. This, I feel like this was too. Oh.
Yeah, this was again like Dawn of the Dead. Like I said last night, Dawn of the Dead. That was Zack's directorial debut, but 300 I think was really the one that really kind of set the template in the public consciousness for what people think of when they think of a Zack Snyder movie.
Yeah.
And then William, I think we talked about this before, but this came out 8 or 9 years after the book was written?
Yeah,
well, didn't the book come out? The book came out in the 90s, right?
It was 98.
99 or 99, 2000, yeah, 98.
By the way, this is Eli Snyder, Zach's son, playing young Leonidas here.
who's now a director, right?
Yeah,
like his old man.
Yeah.
All right, we just to note we are at 7,250. So before we leave the air, either we between this stream and the one that'll wrap up tonight, we want to try to get as close to either 75 or 8,000 as possible. So
I said let's just go for the 10 tonight.
If you can share the stream and share the link, get everybody in on it. That would be great.
So how much will it cost for producing Howard the Duck in October, William?
I'm not ready to think about that right now.
That's like, I think right there, that punch that Leonidas lands on that kid, that's probably the first instance of, that's one thing Zach does a lot. It's like a slow motion shot of somebody getting punched in the face. It's like, I think that was the first example of that.
Daniel has, he's kind of touching on that while you're saying it, Brad, but also wasn't there a couple of slow motion scenes with the gunplay in Dawn of the Dead?
Yeah, here and there, but again, not like
a ramp up like they do now.
Yeah, not like where he really just goes crazy with it. Frank Miller, I remember, like on the bonus features of the 300 Blu-ray, he talked about when Leonidas fights the wolf here in this flashback, and he traps the wolf in that corridor and spears him, and he said like that was this is all a fictionalized element of Leonidas coming up as the king, but that was meant to be like an allegory for the whole Battle of the Hot Gates and the methodology they employed to funnel the Persians into this tight corridor where they can't maneuver, where their size and they're the size of their militia, it's negated by the environmental constrictions.
This was back in the golden age.
Pretty otherworldly, kind of looks like the wolf from Neverending Story, at least the way you imagine
yeah.
it. Not when you're older and you see that it's a puppet in an animatronic. It's not as scary. When you're younger, it's scary.
I actually think it's cool that that you didn't get like a run-of-the-mill wolf for this. They got this really.
No, that's what I'm saying. I like the otherworldly aspect.
The whole point of the whole point of 300, the graphic novel and the movie is, it's propaganda. It's Spartan propaganda. It's meant to make them look cool, make them look heroic, and so the way you do that is you make the opponents, the villains, as fearsome and formidable as you possibly can, and how you recount the story. That's what you do with the wolf. You make the wolf look like a wolf from like the Nightmare timeline, basically.
Did you ever see the sequel to this?
I did, yeah.
How was it?
Right. Go ahead.
Yeah, I thought it wasn't bad. I don't think it was. I like it as much as the first one, but I thought it was all right.
There are some good assets in that movie.
Yeah.
Eva Green in particular is probably the best part about it.
Yeah. Oh, she has the best line by far in that movie too, and everybody knows what I'm talking about if they've seen it.
I can't wait for tomorrow night.
What's happening tomorrow night?
True Detective.
Oh,
yeah, man. I got some theories, Clint. I just did a rewatch here in the last couple of days.
That's the last episode?
Nah, chap. We got an Invisible 7th episode's coming out. The Terminators are gonna send back Christian Bale. We're gonna get an extra episode of True Detective. Nah, tomorrow's the last episode, Chappie. For this season.
I remember too. Anybody tonight on the panel or in the chat, did you guys ever watch the on Spike when it was Spike TV, the show Deadliest Warrior?
Sometimes. Like when they would compare the fighting. No, I watched Fight Science. Never mind the one where they compared the fighting styles.
That's a similar, because they have fight. That's a similar kind of a concept. But Deadliest Warrior was like comparing like Spartan versus ninja or Shaolin monk versus Maori or Viking versus samurai. All that. My friend Mike and I, we were just obsessed with that show when it was going. And they had, this clearly showed the impact of David Wenham's narration of 300 because they brought him back. He did it under the pseudonym of Drew Sky, but he was the narrator of Deadliest Warrior, and then he did it very much in the vein of his narration of 300.
I watched that show. I was kind of like, this is all subjective. I mean, it's not really objective. I was like,
I was watching Dark Angel when I was young.
It's hard to your point, Clint. Though it's really hard to quantify those things at different time periods and different places in the world and different
tactics, different weapons.
The culture you live in plays into the tactic you use and all that. So I mean, just all different types. And then, like I said, even time periods. There was a point in time when there wasn't insurgent warfare wasn't a big thing, right? Everybody did stand in army to stand in army, but so.
Yeah, but it was still
subjective is kind of the only way you can go, right?
Yeah. So and that's kind of the point of the show, is that it is meant to be like comparing like total opposites.
I watched one show on the History Channel about how medieval actually fought and lived and everything.
Yeah,
and that was more interesting to me than anything.
Hey, 1 second. Nick is in the chat asking if we started. Yeah, we did, Nick.
Yeah,
and I'm at about 8 minutes and 15 seconds into the movie.
Yep. Yeah. This was actually not the first thing I'd ever seen Gerard Butler in, because this is where he broke out. But the biggest thing he had for me that I'd seen that he'd done previously was when he was in a Tomb Raider: Cradle of Life.
Well, he was also in Phantom of the Opera too. That was like one of his first roles in that one, and he also did Dracula 2000 White.
I didn't know the Spartan spoke with an Irish accent though.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but he's got.
They always speak with British and Irish accents. Clint,
well, that's the short. Well, come on. It's like, anytime you do historical epic, and you of course, you're not going to get the language of the time. That's the shorthand they give it to make them sound very cultured.
There's a comedian named Wyatt Cenac who said that 1,000 years or 500 years from now, when they talk about the Crips and the Bloods, they'll all be doing it in British accents.
Yeah, well, that's why in Gladiator they all have British accents. Earth and water.
We got a pretty iconic scene coming up here.
Yeah,
Brad.
He was also great in.
It got meme, like it was a meme like months before the movie even came out. It was what
also. We got Queen Cersei in the house right there. One of the best characters of all time on television. Queen Cersei.
And there's a diss too. It's like, why does a woman think she can speak? Because only Spartan women give birth to real men.
Those matchups against two teams in the top 15 of the country, number 5 Clemson, number 13 Oregon.
When they talk about the traitor later, Brad, and they have the scenes with him, keep what you were saying about propaganda in mind, right?
Yeah,
because he's literally, if this is a piece of propaganda, they make him ugly, they make him weak, they make him.
You're talking about Ephialtes,
Yep.
To this day, the Greek still Ephialtes is still the name of someone's traitor.
Yeah.
So like our Benedict Arnold out here, like when we call somebody Benedict Arnold out here,
right?
Yeah, there's also that line there too about, it's like, the Athenians turned you down if those boy lovers didn't want to do it, and it's an example of the Spartans, polishing their own image, because it's like that was not uncommon in ancient Greece.
Force out looking for locations, location scouting in Hesperia for what, Justice League 2. Good luck, Forth. I hear you can do half the movie in your driveway if you got all the equipment. You got the right people behind it. You get half the movie made in your driveway, yo.
During a pandemic,
that's never gonna happen. At this point, it's probably gonna happen a graphic novel. That's what I think.
That's what Williams shooting for. That's what the hopes are.
Or maybe a cartoon. That's what I'm hoping for. Maybe a graphic novel or a cartoon is fine with me.
You'll probably get more.
Chappie, have you ever played Injustice before?
No. I think I played the game when I was young, but no, I didn't.
Okay. God, this is so perfect too, how they keep that bottomless pit hidden until right now.
This is like a well, or like it looks like the ground because the bricks kind of.
Saturday,
kind of a sausage fest on here. Can we get like Ruth or Aaron to join us or something?
Aaron was just trying to join, but she said her mic is having some issues. We're watching. Well, it's on Amazon Prime. It's on a few other places.
Well,
so
I own it on Blu-ray.
Yeah. Okay, here it is. It's coming up. This is Sparta.
So
it's like that
perfect.
alone
He did
was
not
like
squeak like you did when he did that, Brad. I just listened to you do it, and I just listened to Gerard Butler do it. He definitely didn't squeak.
I don't have his Scottish accent and his glorious beard. Okay.
If they make Meet the Spartans 2, we'll get you as Leonidas.
I wasn't going like
Brad. He's going through puberty.
It's delivered so well
I
right
was
here.
keeping it low too. So, but that right there, that was like 30% of the marketing they did for this was just.
Oh yeah. That's what got everybody's asses into the seats for real.
What else did you see him in after this, Gerard Butler?
Second.
What else did you see Gerard Butler in after
What
this?
have I seen, or what did I see him?
Yeah, what did you see like after this?
Yeah, the only thing I'd seen prior to 300 with him was Tomb Raider: Cradle of Life.
Didn't White House Down come out before 300 or not?
No,
that was
that's when Business Fallen. That came out after this.
Okay.
That was a great movie.
Again, it's like more Spartan propaganda. It's like Leonidas is so badass, he's going to climb a mountain to talk to the
with the cape on.
Yeah,
while wind's blowing. Like
this might be a hot take, but he did this great movie called Gamer, which I love.
Yeah. Gamer's not bad, Chappie. I'll give you that. It's kind of a bad movie, but it's a good bad movie.
Grindhouse movies that I enjoy so much.
Yeah.
It's so bonkers, but I just love it.
Yeah, bonkers is the best word for it.
Yeah.
It's kind of a ridiculous concept where they start, but it kind of goes in a cool place. So I'll give you that.
Yeah?
I'll give you that.
Yeah, I thought it was great, that.
I think it's better than Ready Player One is.
No, Ready Player One's good, but this is like kind of like a more extreme version of it.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Oh, I guess Ruth can't join us. I see you, Ruth. I hear you out here. Well, thanks for at least hanging out with us in the chat.
Look at that. It's like we would see this shot of the moon like 16 years later as the rings of Mara on Velt in Rebel Moon.
Yeah.
To recreate that.
Daniel, he was on the Matthew McConaughey plan.
Because I got this up on Amazon right now, and it says "Goofs, factual error. E4s were not crazy old priests; they were representatives of the citizens of Sparta."
Oh, you're hitting all the propaganda pieces.
Exactly, yeah. But this
Gotcha.
it's like again, it's missing the point to like do like a beat for beat, like historical fact check on this, because that's not what it's striving for.
Are you familiar with? I don't want to get too far off subject, but are you familiar with Romance of the Three Kingdoms, Brad?
I'm not. No.
It's a propagandized. There's basically the Warring States period in China to the Three Kingdoms period to the unification, right?
Oh, okay, yeah.
And that's an actual history book somebody wrote. So then they made a fictionalized version of it. And it's referenced a lot to this day. It's probably made like 600 years ago or so, or maybe longer.
So it's kind of equivalent to 300.
300 would kind of be, because it's a literal real life version of that, and the propaganda is so heavy throughout it that, like I said, you'll like TV shows that you watch that come out of just the East in general, not even just China, will pick up on some of the references from that storyline. Yeah. So
okay, I'll give.
If we're ever watching something and I see it, I'll try to point out. There's a lot of characters in it. And it's over a long period of time, but there's certain tropes that it creates, right? So if we ever run across them, I'll try to point it out to you.
Yeah.
But that would be the equivalent. But
well, it's interesting you say that, because I remember a couple of years later after 300, something that I likened, again, this is like taking the 300 approach to another culture's kind of last stand battle story was 47 Ronin.
Okay.
Keanu Reeves, because look at that. It's like it's very fantastical, but
I never saw that one.
It's not bad. It's not bad. Walter Hamada.
I remember coming out, but I don't.
Walter Hamada was a writer on it, though.
Yeah, yeah, I know that.
But you liked it though, so see, the broken clock can be right twice a day, or he shouldn't be. He shouldn't be a producer. He should be a writer, right?
See, that's not bad because again, Walter Hamada should just do like low budget stuff. He just shouldn't do like comic stuff. That was his big problem.
Yeah. Oh, they did, and they did it bombed, but they did a sequel actually.
They did.
Yeah, well, it was a streaming one, but Blade of the 47 Roman. Though that one, I like that one even more. That one's awesome. That one with Mark DeCosta.
I gotta research this after this.
Yeah, Blade of the 47 Ronin. I think that's set in modern times, so it's building off of the events of the first 47 Ronin, but it's also pretty standalone. But again, it's going back to 47 Ronin itself. It does a similar thing to 300 where it takes a historical event but like plays it up in very fantastical terms and takes the army, or it takes the fighting force that's at the center of it and portrays the events in such a way where it's like it's meant to be propaganda for this culture and for this fighting force. And so it's like, yeah, it's got its basis in history and an actual historical event, but it's embellished in a way where it's like this is
to make it
really
exciting, right?
It's,
or propaganda.
Yeah, it's from their perspective. It's a rallying the troops kind of story.
Yeah. Similar to this, like you're saying.
Yeah.
Because this is the whole point of this. I mean, this movie gets people hyped up.
Yeah, but I just like
before they go out and vote, they watch 300 and get hyped up.
I love this too. I just love to hear though on Amazon where I'm watching. It's like factual error. E4s were not crazy. You're represent.
So are you like? Why are you clicking along on your computer? Or is it like have pop-ups?
Oh no, it's like I just moved my mouse and it's like
gotcha. I thought
it has the whole X-ray thing on when you have Amazon Prime, where it'll pull up trivia and things like
that. Got it. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I don't have Amazon Prime, so they included in the factoids in the movie. That's cool.
Yeah.
Cool. He's a good asshole for a bad guy. This
Dominic West.
Yeah.
Oh, he was actually pretty awesome in Punisher Warzone about a year and a half after this.
Yeah, he was okay in that.
Oh, I dug the shit out of doing that.
That's a good movie. Did William like that one or no? That's the Ray Stevenson one, right?
Punisher Warzone's great. That's definitely kind of like, it's like Blade Trinity. It's kind of like a guilty pleasure of mine. Like it's not that good of a movie.
Way better than Blade Trinity, man.
Yeah, no, it's up there with Blade Trinity. Sorry, guys.
He's not saying he's saying as levels of guilty pleasures, but
yeah,
like with all of Chappie's guilty pleasures, this motherfucker should be in a supermax prison. Like Chappie.
I do love me some Blade Trinity though. Like that's in my top 5. That's usually a top 5 guilty pleasure.
Best line in Blade Trinity's Hannibal King, Ryan Reynolds saying,
"Yeah, he was great in it."
Go fuck your sister to Triple H. That's what he said.
Yeah, him and Jessica Biel, man. And I love Dracula too. Dracula's the best.
That's the worst Dracula that's ever been put.
Yeah, I know. Like he's in like the dumbest outfit, but it is so funny at the same time. Like I just love it. It's so dumb. But like I said, it's like again, it's like I don't mean to go off topic, but again, it's like Punisher Warzone. Like they're both stupid movies, but they're just so goddamn entertaining at the same time.
Scary movie is definitely not that.
Well, no, that's different.
When is Scary Movie? I want to see that. I want to hear.
That's a comedy.
We'll schedule that.
Yeah, we'll do
okay. You had the okay. We're at timestamp. We're like 21:15 for me. So yeah,
about 21, 16, 17. Yeah, that was just around there.
You should be seeing a naked Gorgo and
Lena.
William, you're in a hiccup, man. Yeah, I think it might. Okay,
probably bad internet connections.
Oh, yeah, he's going in and out. What's up?
Oh, we just saw the.
I'm just looking at
you looked there. You disappeared from us.
Now you're also probably going to hear from me a lot of fanboying, and when we get to the when the Spartans actually assemble, because I'm going to be pointing out all like a lot of the stunt guys and people like that are went on to great things post 300.
Like what?
How many Raid references are going to be in this?
Zero, because Raid wasn't out by now.
Exactly.
Raid wasn't out by now. So
hey, I gotta ask you, if the Raid your favorite action movie of all time?
It's definitely among them. Yes, it's definitely
okay.
It's definitely one of my top 10.
I don't hype it up as much as Brad does, but I think it's one of my top action flicks too. Because this, they do a lot with a little in that movie, and they do a whole hell of a lot more than people with a lot more.
Okay, yeah,
it would probably be in my top 4. I would probably rank it a top 4 for sure.
Okay, so here we are, the Spartan, I guess they went back to this exact cornfield too for Rebel Moon. Okay, yeah, right there, that guy, right next to David Wenham is
that's Meacham's dad.
no, but the guy right next to him, that's David Leitch.
Okay.
So of course he would go on to after he was quite a stunt.
Yeah, he would direct John Wick.
co-directed.
He co-directed it.
And then he went on to Atomic Blonde.
I knew it was in there.
Yeah, Fassbender. Yeah. He went on to Atomic Blonde and Deadpool 2 and Hobbs and Shaw, and what was the last one he just had come out? Bullet Train. And he's got the Fall Guy coming up, so he's of course gone on to big things, and also
that's
Chad
Brad in high school right there.
Yeah, that's actually not that far off from what me high school, to be honest.
I love me some Atomic Blonde. That was what made me fall in love with Charlie Chaplin. Was that one movie?
Really, it took you that long?
I mean, I seen it in a couple stuff. Like, I've liked to in a couple stuff, but that was like the one movie where I saw him that made me just automatically fell in love with him.
Hey, William, I got a question for you if you can hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Fassbender or McKellen? Who's the better Magneto?
McKellen.
It's a tie because they both told the story from two different perspectives.
Yeah,
I'm saying, which one do you prefer seeing? I'm not saying like who did it better necessarily, but which one
I don't have a preference between the two. They're
okay.
I can't answer that question because they both portrayed them accurately for.
They killed it. Both of them killed Magneto. Killed the role for sure.
Michael Fassbender stopped giving.
Fassbender played a relevant one to what he was going through and what was happening to him, and McCullough played an older Magneto that was relevant and with his life experience. And I think they both did such a good job. But I think whatever was handed either one of them, they would have been able to do it. But watching both, I don't have a preference, so it's a tie basically.
I think overall, I think you mentioned this as well. I think X-Men 1 handles the origin of Magneto the best.
Yeah. The Holocaust opening. Yeah.
It opens
by the
up.
way, does anybody else feel of the Spartan capes there? Does anybody feel like I do, where it's like those feel of it? Yeah, where it's like where Zach kind of looked back. He and Michael Wilkinson looked back at 300. Said it's like we got to pull up that 300 kind of design. The Superman cape.
I think he tries to take what he I think he's always trying to improve on what he's done instead of letting it go to waste, right?
Yeah,
so I think the improvements on this go to Man of Steel, and then you see, or even in Watchmen, some of those improvements going to BVS, and just the fight scene in the alley is brutal, but then we get the BVS fight scene, and it's way a higher level, but there's a lot of the same elements. There's the things that you didn't normally see in the superhero movies, like the bone breaking, all that stuff that he introduced in Watchmen, then turned it up to 11. You know. So when we get Justice League 2, hopefully, it'll be interesting to see what kind of fight that is if we get a fight with real people. Maybe with Superman soldiers. That would be a cool fight.
Absolutely would love that. Now this is also a little bit of history they pull into it, because this was something that Spartan wives actually did tell their husbands that went off to war, which he says, come back with this or on it. That was they actually said that to their husbands because the shield was a signifier of the unity within the Spartan phalanx, and if a soldier deserted his unit, the first thing he would do was he would drop his shield, because it's that was slowing him down. But it was also a disgrace to do that, because it signifies like you abandoned your brothers on the battlefield, and you probably got some of them killed because you left a hole in the phalanx. So that was where that saying "come back with the shield or on it" kind of originated from.
Hey, Brad, can you do me a favor and pull up this last comment from Daniel?
Yeah, sure. Where's that? I've never had Vietnamese food before. Ford was telling me about it. How good?
How the hell you live in this? How the hell you live this long and not have fun or any kind of Vietnamese food, man? Get on it right now. Just don't eat it in Arizona. Arizona Vietnamese food or Asian food in general is just terrible. But other than that, go to your local spot.
Yeah, and that was the whole. That's the whole point of why they pick the guys they have because they why they whittle it down to 300 soldiers because it's like all these are guys who have already had children. So if they die, their family can still their lineage still continues.
And in real life, there were a lot more people than just 300.
There were 300 Spartans, but there were, they had these other Greeks that show up, the Lente, and they really, and the Spartans, in the narration really talks a smack about them, which again, because it's Spartan propaganda.
Well, and the history is being told by, the winners of that battle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The survivors.
History is his story. He won
the guy
war.
The guy with the blonde hair he's from Australia. Can you point? Can you be more specific, Aaron? Can you point that out to me?
Well, I don't think they actually win until Alexander the Great comes along and he really puts the screws to Persia.
Yeah. The way of putting it. Spartans.
And the Athenians weren't wusses. They were just as badass as the Spartans.
I brought more soldiers than you did.
Yeah, the real history is much more interesting to me, but whatever. I go to movies to escape reality.
Did you jump off, Chappie? No, we lost Chappie. Slaves, they had them, white ones, but they were yes. Well, I mean, it's like you're talking about like was 1500 BC, so it's like nobody didn't have slaves at this point. No culture didn't practice slavery at this point in time. But then again, it's another. It's an element.
If you were somehow magically transformed from this age to back then, you'd be appalled at what they did.
Oh hell yeah, yeah, and that's why. It's also why again they have to. You couldn't tell this story just as a one-to-one from like the historical records. Like and you couldn't tell it as anything other than Spartan propaganda because it's like
there's a lot of stuff going on. Plus, all the other Greek city-states were doing the same.
Oh, did you
same
mean
kind
David,
of propaganda for their own?
Yeah, did you mean David Wenham? Aaron is because he is from Australia. Yes, I did, Aaron. I did, Ruth. God, I'm mixing her up. I'm not gonna do that, guys, anymore.
Not again.
Ruth tagged me in this on Twitter earlier. Yes, I did see that though. So, William, please check that out for us.
It's I have a feeling it's a tourist trap, and yeah.
It'd be cool to have like laser tag with John Wick. It's like you're running through like like
just don't kill his dog.
Yeah, like the kind of the house, the one shot confrontation in the fourth one. Just like have that, but with laser tag.
That John Wick 4, when they're doing the Louvre, is the stunts are amazing.
Oh hell yeah! And again, it's like you had not just David Leitch, but also Chad Stahelski was one of the fight coordinators too on 300.
Oh yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's cool. The real Neo, the true Neo. Keanu did train though. He trained his ass off.
Yeah, he did.
Because you see him using those moves in other movies.
Well, Keanu, it's like anytime you ask him about his training, he'll say, "Yeah, I just know how to do it when the cameras are going, but these guys are way better than I am." Yeah. Keanu's
he always looks out for his backup and his stunt people. That's
yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, here's another bit of trivia, by the way. I'm pulling up from the Amazon thing. Andrew Tiernan, his prosthetic makeup for the character F.A.L. Tays took 10 hours to apply. Longest he spent in costume was 30 hours while filming in the Persian tent. Okay, so that dude was like
hours.
Yeah, so that dude was like, there were points that guy was like,
we need you to stay overnight, but don't take your makeup off. Just
he is like going to sleep in that. He's going home after the end of the day and like coming back the next day without taking the makeup off ever.
Oh, good luck sleeping with a hunch.
Yeah, I realized that's what you were talking about, Aaron.
Nick, I picked up what you were talking about. I knew what you were saying, Nick. I get it. Hey man, that guy's the best part of season 1, Iron Fist, man.
Just get to season 2, everybody. Just skip over season 1.
He's not even in season 2, man. Like, that guy's great.
I mean, he's also great on Deadliest Warrior. God, and like what the Persians did here to this one week. I mean, it looks like just such a nightmare. It was such a nightmare they put these people through. It's a post-apocalyptic nightmare they have left them in.
Oh, more like pre-apocalyptic, but I get what you're.
But look at this image. It's right out of a nightmare. You were seeing a nightmare in the Zack Snyder movie here. It's such a nightmare what we're witnessing here with the people here on the nailed to the tree. It's such nightmare fuel.
Oh, ancient people did this regularly.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Far worse, and far worse. Like, don't ever if you don't want to be grossed out, don't ever Google what scaphism was.
I mean, people who don't learn or study the histories of the world, it's like, oh, they think, oh, everyone was the same. No, they disregarded human life like
you cannot imagine.
Yeah. It's like when I go to Renaissance Fair and I look at the people and I'm like, 90% of the people would die.
Yeah. Oh, God,
they were actually there.
Too, with the ships. First with the ships arriving, and then with the lightning coming down on them in the next scene here.
Don't remember
that's like out of a Renaissance painting.
Don't forget cholera and the plague. That usually takes them out pretty quick in the Middle Ages.
Yeah, they're watching this like, oh, we're not even gonna have to fight them now.
I like this. I like the storm and the boats.
Yeah. That's
I always thought it was cool.
Yeah, they're going. Yeah, the Persians right now, they're going through such a nightmare right now too. I mean, it's so crazy how Zack Snyder has put such a nightmare into this movie. But by the way, also a little bit more on the Spartan propaganda element of this. If you know anything about the history of how they fought and their battle tactics and all that, I mean, it shows them carrying the spear and the shield in there, but they were fully armored. I mean, they had the helmets. Well, they put those on later, but they had helmets. They had the breastplate. They were fully covered in bronze armor. They don't do that here because they're showing off how ripped they are, because again, it's to present them in the most badass light possible. But yes, they were a lot more armored.
They weren't even wearing armor in the comics either, though, were they?
Yeah, no, yeah, just
looks
just
a
the
lot
helmets.
like this.
Yeah, just the helmets.
A lot more silhouettes.
Yeah, it was just the helmet they were wearing as far as actual armor they were wearing.
Yeah.
Well, it depends on how much a loincloth has plus to the armor class.
Oh yeah, he's using RPG rules. I get you. I'm picking up what you're laying down, Clint. Loincloths are good against slash damage, but they're not good against piercing damage. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
right.
As that range, your loincloth's not going to help you out.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds like such a nightmare. Yes, I am being very intentional when I use the term nightmare over and over during the Zack Snyder movie, guys.
You're lucky Fourth isn't in here with you.
Oh, that would be a nightmare. That would be such a nightmare.
Oh, I kind of left that one open. Clint. Yo, Clint.
Yeah.
Is Rose a ghost?
Rose a ghost. Who's Rose?
Night Country. That's the old lady.
Oh. No.
Okay.
Her old dead boyfriend is, but
That's Rust's
Yeah,
dad.
that's another great shot here of the Persian encampment.
I still think the kid was because he's like
prior.
Why would he shoot? I don't know. Shooting his dad makes him like, okay, that guy can't finger me now.
Yeah, maybe.
In the crime. But what do I know? It's all a guess.
Last day we can guess before we know, so.
Yeah.
Nick.
I think,
and also, like father, like son,
I want to look this up too, because I think this actually was Michael Fassbender's first movie.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, let me look this up real quick. His first thing, yeah, it was his first movie because he came from it was his. He came from
he's a stage player.
Yeah, he did some TV work and some theater work, but yeah, this was his first movie.
We've been having musical numbers at the end of the stream. What does that mean? What's Ruth talking about?
Oh yeah, we've been pulling up the Predator, the musical, and all that stuff from that one channel. So I'm sure we'll have one tonight.
2020, late 2023 and 2024 definitely is the year of the musical, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess.
Even on the Sci-Fi channel, it's the year of the musical. If we got Zack Snyder's Justice League 2, but it had to be a musical, would you still be on board for it?
It'd be weird. It'd be different. Anybody could pull it off. It'd be him, I'm sure. We have some more trivia here too on the from the Amazon Prime General Trivia. Okay, so in an effort to get the studio executives to commit to making the movie, Zack Snyder's team scanned every image from Frank Miller's graphic novel into a computer. Then they removed all the dialogue and descriptive prose and added simple animation to each frame, such as burning fire, moving clouds, sparkling eyes.
That's why he's the man.
Yeah,
that's why he's the man, because he took it right out the comic to make it. I get it. It's not always a good thing, but comics are basically storyboards. That's why they should be fucking up as much as they do.
Exactly.
You know what
I mean? This whole thing with the whip here, jumping in against the whip. Chopping his hand off. They then added these shots into what was amounted to an animated comic strip, and Snyder hired his friend Scott Glenn to record a voiceover narration for the piece. Snyder brought the film to Warner Brothers, and they said they needed more to convince them the movie could be work. As such, they decided to shoot a live-action test 90-second, 360-degree continuous shot featuring a single Spartan killing several Persians. Combination of the animated comic images and the test convinced Warner Brothers and Snyder's team were capable of making the movie. An extract from the animation as well as the entire test can be found as an Easter egg on the disc 1 of the 2-disc special edition DVD of the film. So there you go. That's a little bit of history on how 300 was greenlit. Oh, yeah, and that's and then we get the arrows blotting out the sun in about 10 minutes here.
They did that in that movie Hero too. Remember, Brad?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, because I hadn't read the 300 graphic novel at the time of the movie, so that was what my mind went back to when I first saw this was in Hero with Jet Li.
Mm-hmm. And Hero got brought over by Tarantino or by Weinstein's company, but Tarantino wanted it over. But that, if I'm not mistaken, that movie actually came out in like 2001, right? The real
2002. 2002.
Okay.
They came out over
and
here
then
2004.
And then it came out over here in America like 2 or 3 years later, right?
Yeah, 2004. Yeah.
Okay.
So here we go with FALTs. And 10 hours for that makeup. I mean, my God.
But it's better than using 2006 CGI completely on that.
Oh yeah. Well, the thing is, today they probably would do that. Like just.
That's what I'm saying. And in 2006 they were doing that too in some cases, and they just,
but today that'd be just way more. They would be able to.
Because you got to think, like, Star Wars Episode 7 is, at the time it was coming out, J.J. Abrams was getting a lot of praise for using CGI and practical equally, or a good balance of both. Whereas for the last few years prior to that in movies, we were just getting they're just chalking everything up to CGI. That's why Galactus sucks so fucking much on Fantastic Four, because they didn't want to make a prop or a miniature or any of that, so we got a fucking cloud.
Yeah.
Hi, how are you?
Nick says that Charlie Hunnam would have been in 300. So Zach looked out for him in
yeah, I remember him saying
looked out for him in Rebel Moon though.
I remember him saying that they had talks about him potentially being in 300, but it just didn't end up happening. But we ended up coming aboard Rebel Moon.
So are you excited as I am in October for Howard the Duck to be shown again?
It's a William question.
Oh no, that's you, Brad, because you're going through the pain of a scary story or whatever, scary movie.
Scary movie. He doesn't even know what it's called. He gave $250 to it. Just like
Oh, I don't care about the movie.
He doesn't care. I know. That's the funny part.
Yeah, you don't care about it. You still fuck with me. Like
numbers, and Chappie. I think it were they were wanting to see it. And then they asked if I was down. I said I'm sure, and that's where it started. So, but Numbers really wanted to do it. I think he thinks it's a bad movie. I'm not going to speak for him because he's not here. But if I recall correctly, I think he just wanted it to be the next bad movie we watch.
Oh, the Schadenfreude has paid me back so much more than I spent.
By the way, this whole thing with this is another bit of trivia. Frank Miller talked about the way he wrote this, and of course, is how it presented in the movie when Leonidas kind of lets Ephialtes down gently, saying, "Yeah, you can't raise your shield, so unfortunately, I can't use you on the battlefield." Mm-hmm. And he said he plays as Leonidas, like being is kind and sugarcoating it as much as he can, but it's like again, knowing the real history of the Spartan culture, it's like he probably would have just kicked him off the cliff there and laughed about it.
Speak of the devil and he'll show up. I just mentioned Numbers and now he's here with us.
Okay, let me see how's it going, Numbers?
And we're having a good time watching it. Are you are you joining us for the watch, or are you
yeah, you want to jump in, man? Just click the link in the Patreon.
You want Henry to play Victor Vaughn?
Yeah.
I mean, Henry's cool. I would be interested in seeing maybe somebody else as Dr. Doom though.
Okay, here we go. We're at the first battle scene, and the line of like Persians come get our weapons that is drawn from history. Where it happened very differently. Where it was more like they sent a messenger saying like lay down your weapons and surrender, and they sent the Spartans sent a letter back saying like come and get them. So it didn't quite play out like this, but that line was an exchange between the Spartan and Persian armies. I love the look on this guy's face too when he gets taken out.
I know Zach's known for the desaturation, but I just was saying this earlier. A lot of this, even if it's not all the silhouettes like in the book and stuff, just the dark scale plays so well to the comparing it to the comic.
Well, and then you got like the contrast of that with like the bright red capes and
and even
blood,
just the background and all that. Yeah. So it's stylized in a way that it as such, it kind of ages well with it. You know what I mean?
I like his. This is where we fight.
This is where they die.
This is where we hold them. And this is where they die.
I also think too. I've talked about a lot about kind of in Zack Snyder's Justice League how like a lot of things, a lot of lines, and a lot of moments are kind of retroactively meta with the circumstances how it was released, particularly in the third act. And like one line here, when Leonidas says, like, remember this day for it will be yours for all time. I think that kind of has a new connotation now. With, like, when you think back on like the November 17th, 2019, kind of the push for the Snyder Cut there. It's like, yeah, that day for this fandom, that day is ours for all time now. And same for, May 20th, 2020, and the day the movie actually came out. So it's like, it took a little while to catch up with that, but again, it's one of those things where it's, the journey we've had, lines like that or moments like that where they kind of hit differently.
The Justice League versus Parademons and Superman soldiers.
Oh yeah, this yeah. Yeah, this actually wouldn't be a bad template for that. Look at that pile of bodies that are just walking all over there.
And the guys in the back stabbing them, make sure they're dead.
Yeah, they have like a scene coming up with that too when Leonidas is getting ready to go meet Xerxes. This is also
right there. They're right there. Yeah.
Yeah, and this is also again kind of the Spartan propaganda side of it, where it's like, they didn't fight like this, where they just break away individually and start just chopping guys up. But again, it's to make them look. They're presenting the story to make themselves look as cool as they possibly can.
It's actually a good military tactic to make sure the people that you're going over are dead.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You get cut in the back or stabbed in the back or any of that.
I remember even in modern times when the first Iraq War, people got all upset about the Marines killing a stack of bodies or shooting into a stack of bodies. It's like, no, you killed them.
That is because that is a war crime.
Desecration of a corpse.
Well, you don't know if
not back in this time period, it wasn't.
Not back in the Spartan era, but
you
don't know
if
the Geneva Convention
grenade at you back then.
If I did that, I wouldn't be here right now. I would be in Kansas.
Well, those guys did not get in trouble because who knows what they had. If one of them turned over and threw a grenade at them, all
right. That is if you once what those guys did was after they had been disarmed or after when they were no longer combatants. It's your job as a combatant to make sure when I search you and I do all these things to you, that is my job under Article 1 and Article 2.
This is the poster of the movie right here. When they all get shoved off the cliff there. That was the poster for the movie.
Oh, yeah. And the one image I did get kind of sick of seeing because they used it everywhere. But yeah, no, that is what those guys did. That's literally you will end up in Leavenworth, Kansas for that. And those guys did get convicted. They got Article 37s and 38s. Some of them were actually eligible.
Oh.
Yeah, they were eligible for the death penalty under certain circumstances, which is you have to do something. There are rules of engagement. As long as a combatant is a combatant, you can continue to wage that war. But once they are no longer a combatant and you kill them after the fact, that's a war crime.
Hey, Brad, can you give a fun a timestamp? I got mine froze for a second, so
yeah,
I got the arrows.
Fun. We're at 50-31. It's the part where they're ducking from all the arrows.
The arrows. Yeah.
I'm
about like 2 seconds behind.
50-39 right now for me.
Yep, I'm like 1 second.
We're that far into it already? Damn.
Yeah.
All right. We are at 72.
Money.
Yeah, we're at 7,250 guys. Just a reminder. I've seen people in the chat already sharing it around, so that's great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Sharing is caring, and it does help. Like I said, I don't have a specific goal for today. As long as we end up the 17th of February past 7,250, I'll be happy because we're well on our way to 10 grand.
Yeah.
But how much do I have to donate for Howard the Duck, William?
You're gonna have to give me the 10 grand. I'd fuck that movie, dude. I'd rather watch Madam Web again.
So if he gives you $1 after, because we're gonna get 10 grand before Rebel Moon 2 comes out. So if he gives you $1 after Rebel Moon, you owe him a Howard the Duck, dude.
Fuck that. No, today. If I gotta suffer, you got today. I'm not torturing myself. I love myself too much. I have too much self-respect to do that for low goals like that.
Hey, Brad, Numbers is about to leave, and he had a few questions he wanted pulled up.
Okay,
I suppose.
let me check out his questions. So I can't stay with Spider-Man where I said hi I said hi, Daniel. Can we go back up?
Michael Fassbender with long hair. My goodness.
Okay,
like
guys, the things I do for you guys. I'm not seeing the question here, though, man.
Oh, I thought he said he had some questions.
Comments.
He said comments. He just, I guess he just want to acknowledge the scary movie conversation we had. So he legit enjoys it, and he doesn't think it's bad, but he acknowledges that you do. So.
By the way, I'm trying to spot him somewhere in all this too. Another guy I was kind of referring to earlier when I said, here he is right here. The guy who just got impaled right there.
Mm-hmm.
That guy, his name is Darren Shalavi, which maybe he's not familiar with him. He's he was quite the martial arts guy. He's he had done a bunch of things that
he was the assistant technical director to the raid.
No, he was not involved with the raid at all. But he was he probably a lot of people know him best from he was the villain in Ip Man 2, opposite Donnie Yen, and then he was Kano.
He was the boxer on Ip Man 2. He was the Australian. It was that guy was the Australian boxer, right?
Yeah, well, he was English. He's English.
English. Okay, I thought it was Australian.
But he and he was also Kano on in a Mortal Kombat Legacy web series, and did a whole bunch of. He was in this one called Blood Moon that I really love.
Legacy is the one with Michael Jai White, right? As Jax.
Yeah. He has a fight scene with Michael Jai White in that. Yeah.
Okay.
But he in 2000, he just made a movie with Van Damme called Pound of Flesh, and it was coming out in 2015, and unfortunately he passed away. I think January 2015, which really sucked because I was really hoping to get the chance to interview him at some point. We did have some Twitter interaction, he and I, before he passed away. Darren Shalavi and I, but I'd be remiss to not mention him. I was a big fan of his, and it was very heartbroken to hear the news when he passed back in 2015. So, rest in peace, Darren. Yeah. And he was actually also he's from England, but he was actually he was of Persian descent. So so that's I guess that's why part why you see him on screen and it was a Persian here. In fact, here's also an interesting bit of trivia as far as Darren goes. His last name, because Shalavi, it's Persian. And it's also got a little bit. It's like Persian, but also some Hebrew in it. And it basically means, like Shah, of course, is emperor or king, in Farsi, and then Lavi is lion. So yes, Darren's last name literally means the Lion King.
Hey, Brad, make sure you, when William gets back, Ruth has a question for him. Make sure you can pull that up for him.
Okay. That should probably be going up. Oh yeah, I'll ask William because I think that's supposed to be going up tonight. No, they weren't. They weren't in mountains, man. They were on a set. This is all in front of a green screen.
I think he's joking with you. I think he's like, shock and awe. He's using his 2006 eyes.
Okay.
I don't know that for sure. I'm not.
And they did it all in 60 days too. That's even more. And budget. The budget for this movie was like $60 million. And $60 million, and it looks like it costs like north of 200. Yeah, here's the thing we were just talking about, where they're just spearing all those guys, whimpering and begging for their lives, while Leonidas is eating an apple.
Black humor. I'm a big fan of that,
Yeah.
Why has it got to be black humor? I got my comic book turning story of the night just from one of the comments in one of the.
Aaron or Ruth wanted to ask when is Tigger's interview happening tonight? Is that tonight or is that one of the other ones?
Tigger. It's one of the damsels in distress that I'm doing this after our show tonight. I will be immediately interviewing one of the girls, one of the final girls tonight. Tigger Lewis, who will be next Saturday, and then that'll air as far as the other show, and then I have another final girl after that. And that'll give us 4. I did for those of you who hadn't had a chance, I did Owl yesterday. For those of you, I'll go ahead and put that in chat. But no, tonight's comic turning story is why I hate Crisis, because I keep getting asked.
We did Crisis a while back.
We did Infinite Crisis. You're doing Crisis on Infinite Earth, or are you gonna do Dark Crisis on Infinite Earth now?
No, I'm gonna use why I can't stand Crisis and why, not because of the actual story itself. It's the trend that it begins.
Hey, put me on that one because I'll bash Crisis all day with you, dude. It was such a waste.
Well, it'll probably play into some of the topics for tonight. Look at that. By the way, look at that. This throne that probably weighs as much as like a bus. Look at those slaves underneath of it carrying it. They probably had like 100 guys carrying that thing, and that thing it's got to weigh like 20 tons.
A bus weighs 20 tons? That seems like a lot, dude, but maybe.
It's Rodrigo Santoro here. He's from Brazil, and he's portraying King Xerxes.
Remember when we were talking about the capes and using techniques?
Yeah,
Xerxes and the gods in the original war scene, when the Earth united to fight against Darkseid.
Yeah,
or Ukas.
Yes. Why are we not getting that? It's so confounding.
But you know how the gods were like, they had clearly a bigger stature altogether than normal human beings.
Yeah, exactly.
Right now with Xerxes,
same thing. Yeah, exactly. Where they do that with Zeus and all the. They never. It's a weird thing too. That's like they never showed. I don't think they ever showed Poseidon in any of those. Because I would have thought they would have drawn a connection between him and Aquaman.
Yeah, because that's the Atlantean king, the original or the ancestor king of the Atlanteans, right?
Yeah. So the link is you can drop a link. I want to hear you guys react and tell me about it. I'm not. What are you asking here, Anthony? I'm not quite sure. Did you? Because the link is on the Patreon, or it should be in the chat too.
What's up?
Anthony said, do you think the movie 300 had a lot to live up to after movie Gladiator? That's why fans getting into as much. I
don't really think they're comparable, other than the.
Nah, one is a pure fantasy,
and one's about Romans. All right, like
one's country, one's rock and roll. I mean, that's really.
There you go.
There is no way on God's green earth we are doing this.
You said you're still watching it, like we already got the confirmation. That's Drogo.
Yeah. To ask Zach though his thoughts on Meet the Spartans. I mean, it's because I've heard people say it's like he does appreciate whenever his body of work is it makes the kind of impact that it can be spoofable. So it's like he kind of looks at it more from that perspective than whether or not the movie itself is garbage, which it is.
Atheist Nihilist has a comment that was relevant to what you were talking about, Brad.
I love this here. I love this when Xerxes get pissed off. It's like, every piece of parchment shall be burned.
One of the biggest compliments any musician can get is having Weird Al parodied him.
Exactly. Let's see. They use the same force perspective as they did. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's the idea. It's the same thing. They didn't use quite the same thing in the history lessons ESJL, but again, they made the Olympian gods look like they're 10 feet tall, and they did the same with Xerxes here, to give him the kind of powerful presence. Hey, Brad, read my comment about 300. I think I just did, man. About the whole comparison to Gladiator. William, why I hate Crisis Ultimate Edition.
Should add a TM to the end.
The reason I asked,
best thing that ever came out of Crisis, though, in my opinion, Superboy Prime, dude. That guy is awesome.
Yeah, that was great. The reason I asked why I've had a lot to live to is Gladiator set the standard for every movie. So you're talking about for like historical epics? I could maybe see that. And look at this here. They got this giant wall of dead bodies they're going to shove down the Persians. It's like out of a nightmare. It's such a nightmare scenario.
Come on now. What are we doing here?
You know, the other thing too, when you mentioned that, Anthony, I mean, because I'm sure a lot of people remember, you know, with 300, you know, when it originally came out, that was when, I mean, this hasn't really gone away, but that was at a time when, you know, U.S. and relations with Iran were kind of getting tense, and so 300 sort of became a little bit of a kind of got caught up in the media firestorm of that, and there was a lot of it was really, I think, the first controversy Zach ran into his career in terms of he was being accused of like making like an anti-Iranian propaganda movie at a time when, you know, it seemed like we could potentially tip over into war with them, and of course that was in the middle of Iraq too.
Well, it's also an intent, like you were saying earlier, it's an intentional propaganda movie. So I mean, you can see that,
Yeah.
you know, with other fascist regimes in the past in their propaganda, and you know.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's why I made the Starship Troopers comparison. It's because it's kind of people kind of, I think, of the, you know, for both of them, people at the time, I think, really kind of missed the essence of, in a lot of ways, that it's intentional propaganda from the perspective of the fascist regime that the movie is, you know, presenting in very heroic terms, because they're the ones, you know, they're selling their own legend here.
Yeah.
That reminds me of people complaining about Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers being about the Trade Center.
Okay, yeah.
Is that a joke or
no? People were like, they should rename it because it shouldn't be about. I'm like, these books came back out at the 1930s.
This is really too like
Thanks,
again,
William.
Playing up the fantastical side of it, because I mean, they're of course the Persians did not have giant monsters with fangs as part of the immortal.
Oh, and Xerxes wasn't 10 feet tall either. I mean,
yeah,
with piercings and shit going to.
Wayne, what are you getting from Sister Kim's tonight?
Haven't decided yet. Probably going to be the either their chicken sandwich, or I might go all out and loaded fries.
But
I'm going.
So
I'm going.
You eat it on like the weekend is your cheat day. You eat like normal food during the week,
pretty
right?
much, yeah. I eat.
Otherwise, you'd have high blood pressure and, you know, hypertension and stuff. Yeah.
I'd be dead, and I would.
Not the double pastrami, double cheeseburger.
I'm sure that's just delicious, but not everyday delicious.
And then during when I'm at an event or a movie, I, you know, every now a fat burger every now and then. But for the most part, my diet consists of, like, last night I ate chicken breast, broccoli, and cauliflower. You know.
Okay. We got to make sure you stay healthy, William. You know, you got to make it to at least 1,000 people. And you said what, next year when you turn 73, that's gonna happen?
Yeah, we're at what, 3 something now. I think it'd be more than 70. I think I may need to be 80 at the rate we're going. Might lose some tonight too, by the way. So. Characters.
Atheist Nihilist got a good one. He just popped up.
Yeah. Come on. Yeah, the entire movie is a pump-up tale told by Dilios. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it is.
Well, I was talking about his one.
Literally a comic.
William.
Cheat meal while watching 300 makes you feel.
What did it say?
A cheat meal during 300 makes you feel extra guilty.
No, I actually, when I ate from Sister Kim's today, I had she did the chicken without the batter on it, so without the and skipped the fries, and, you know, she has greens. So there's a way, even when you're eating there. I mean, it's not, like I said, it's not, you know, obviously it's soul food, but there's ways around, like, getting the maximum. Like my Starbucks, it's sugar-free Starbucks. You know, the only thing that's going to kill me there is the shots when you know, I'm ready to go, if that's what it means.
I'm addicted to Sister Kim's macaroni and cheese, man. Oh.
Yeah, they have good sides. Their macaroni and cheese is great. Their greens are great. Today it's Oxtail Saturday, so they got a line, man. There's a line. You go down there, you look down there, there's a line. You can't even see the A-frame. I'm like, okay, I'll text her my meal and go back.
So if your audience ever visits Vegas and goes to Sister Kim's, do they ever let you know that they heard it from you? Because I know next time I go to Vegas, I'm gonna go there just because it looks delicious. So
Yeah, because there's a menu right here that's a QR code that goes right back to me, so they know they come from me. But when they come in the door with the menu, they know they came from up here because we're the only ones that have.
Well, I'm saying, do they ever let you know, like, hey, somebody says they watch your channel and they okay.
Oh yeah, we've had a couple of people come by. I mean, obviously Rhea has been here. She goes straight. She goes there before she comes up here when she's here.
Yeah, but Rhea and you are part of the conspiracy, so I'm talking about like real natural YouTubers.
What conspiracy?
Here's the other more and again more in the propaganda when the Acadians show up and Delios is describing them in the narration. Oh, they're wild, they're more brawlers than the warriors, but they contribute, they do their part.
Putting the owl interview in here in case you guys, any of you guys here haven't seen it. That guy was very fun to interview.
I still say they're ruining it with giving it a bigger budget, but whatever.
It's not that much. It's not like they're getting like 50 million or I mean, it's still, but there are certain things in it though, because I saw some of it. The money's well spent, like the mask, like they're no longer wearing masks. They actually got makeup, and the makeup actually looks cool. They added effects so that Tigger's tail moves like a tiger tail instead of just looking like a Muppet or something. So I think that's going to be cool.
Well, that was the beauty of it.
Way more for
that was the beauty of it. It was so crappy. It was great.
Well, I don't think you're going to be disappointed with this one. They promise way more spectacular, creative ways of killing, and I'm like, this coming from a movie who put a girl headfirst into a chipper and had gratuitous boobs while they did it for no reason. Just hey, boobs, it's her. There you go.
If they're gonna put me in a wood chipper, I'd rather go head first than the other way.
Yeah. So I'm like, and then, like I said, to do with the flaming chainsaw, that's a that's a Funko Pop figure right there, man. So Pooh running around cutting fools up with a chainsaw.
Daniel Martin's not lying about fourth.
Fourth gave what? Pooh Blood and Honey? Yeah. It's a fun movie.
This heavy metal soundtrack, when they run into they head to battle to kick ass. Again, Spartans selling themselves as the ultimate ass kickers.
Ruth, are you familiar with this person, William Marcus? Have you seen him in other stuff? The War Rhinos. Brad, Drogo's got one for you as well.
Okay, let me pull up. Brad, okay.
No. Look a little bit further back.
Jack Quaid should play Brad, and I don't know. This is Kanye should. Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, I could take Jack Quaid, but I don't know if I think William's going to want to have a different candidate in mind for him.
Drogo, Brad's actually mad that you didn't say like Keanu Reeves or something. That's why. Otherwise, he'd have been over the moon.
He wants Michael J. White to play him.
No, he's saying Jack Quaid should. He said Jack Quaid should play me, and Kanye should play you.
In the Sci-Fi Center.
Why do I got to be played by the crazy guy?
Yeah.
Well, if the shoe
I was gonna say, have you seen yourself at some of these rants you've gone on, William?
I'm not getting up on stage interrupting somebody's award ceremony. I'm not hanging out with.
No, just because Kanye plays you in a movie doesn't mean you're Kanye. But Kanye would definitely. It'd be interesting to see him do one of your rants like about Crisis,
on the movie,
or what band topics nobody is allowed to talk about. That would be a funny. I don't know. Can Kanye act though? I know people just put him in the movie, but is he even an actor?
I don't.
Well, apparently he can be president.
He can't even act in his own video. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, this is everything you were saying about the stuff that would like be awesome and like in a JL2 Nightmare War scene. That would have been cool there too, Spider-Man, about the spinning around and then blocking the explosion with the shield.
Just how they would kind of update that and add to it, and you just like just being able to see kind of how it all elevates and moves on.
Yeah.
Like you said earlier, you made up a good point when you were talking about the cape. As soon as you started talking about that, when you see the cape in Man of Steel, it's so much better than any other Superman cape you've seen.
Yeah.
Returns came out only a few years earlier, and as much as improved it was from the past, it was not even close to what they gave you in Man of Steel. So.
Look at that. Zack Snyder just made that beheading look so gorgeous there with that guy's head popping off and flying up in the air and spinning around.
Making a beheading gorgeous.
Yeah.
That's something I never thought I'd hear.
Well, yeah, there you go.
Brad,
Yep.
Atheist Nihilist is kind of adding to what we're talking about with the cape stuff.
The cape is in 300R with no CGI, which is very impressive. Mostly, yeah. Well, like in all the Superman stuff, Zack
Cloth
Superman,
until he's flying, yeah.
It's for just standing scenes, it's a real cape. But then when he's flying or floating, it's like then it's because he wants to make it very stylized, very comic booky. So then it is CGI.
Okay, Ruth, I got you. Cool.
By the way, let me give a little insight here to the kind of the fight choreography of scenes like this. This is from the historical accuracy section on the Wikipedia page for 300. Since few records on the actual martial arts used by the Spartans survive, aside from accounts of formations and tactics, fight choreography, led by stunt coordinator and fight choreographer Damon Caro, was a synthesis of different weapon arts. The Filipino martial arts is the base.
So Kali?
Yeah, Kali uses a lot of Kali. Yeah.
If you're gonna have short blades, that's the way to go, right, Brad?
Oh hell yeah!
I didn't turn it on, but I was about to turn the Hunted on the other day.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I remember that.
With
that guy got screwed.
The United States military knife fighting style.
Yeah.
I think in modern times, if you're down to a knife fight, you've already lost.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's that's your last resort, right?
This is correct.
But the knife fighting was cool. The techniques they used in that movie were cool. They were, Tommy Lee Jones and Benicio del Toro were all over.
It's gonna be like
Indiana Brad,
Jones when
that's
that guy
it for
comes
you.
at him with that sword.
Brad is officially out of the 300 movie.
I am. What I did?
Hats off, Brad. You're the guy that you wanted to.
Oh yeah, okay. I see.
Oh
yeah, okay. I forgot what you were. Playing me. No, it's weird because I did. That's actually pretty. Tom Wisdom actually does resemble me when I was like 16, even though he was older than 16 when he was in this.
You mean last year?
Yeah, last year.
Last year, Brad was in high school. Next year, William's going to be in the retirement home. Hey, William, I guess he's gone. He's on mute, but Ruth has a question for William. I know a lot of people bring up different types of movies they'd like Zack to do, like Gears of War and things like that. But what about a King Arthur type of story? I know he's influenced by Excalibur, and just thinking about the guy getting decapitated while the horse is going by, you could get a lot of cool stuff like that going on. And I'm sorry, you said Chad Stahelski did what in this movie? He's a stunt person?
Yeah, he was one of the stunt coordinators on this. I'm gonna pull up the IMDb real quick.
So Damon, Chad, and Zack have this movie together. Imagine if they made something again nowadays. That could be.
Oh yeah, God, yeah.
That's what I'm saying, like a King Arthur or Knights of the Round Table type of situation, or
Hell yeah.
The best King Arthur movie ever made was Excalibur.
That's what I'm saying. That's what he always references it. I mean, you see it in the beginning of BVS, and I think it's a great movie. But if he kind of put his own twist on the King Arthur legend with this team.
Yeah. Chad was
it could be crazy.
This is from the IMDb. He was assistant fight choreographer and assistant stunt coordinator at 300. And David Leach, he was where is he? Yeah, he was a stunt guy, and he was one of the Spartans. And of course, Caro was kind of the lead fight choreographer and a stunt coordinator. Of course, he's worked with Zack,
Daniel,
pretty frequently since then.
Christopher Nolan does have a horror movie. It's called Try to Understand the Dialogue the First Time You Watch It.
Yeah, I remember him talking about this. He wanted to do George, like the American Revolution, in the form of a 300 movie, and then that'd be pretty interesting. And it's interesting also because apparently Zach was offered. They offered him to direct the X-Men Origins Wolverine. Which
Zach?
Yeah.
Well, they should have done that because that movie was hot shit.
Yeah. Because there's been conflicting reasons for why apparently there was one because he was making Watchmen at the time, so there was a scheduling issue, but also it's because he wanted to make it R-rated, which that's not surprising.
I think I know what really would have happened. Like you said, it's on the R-rated side of the game.
Yeah,
he was going to show Wolverine actually using his fucking claws, and in X-Men Origins Wolverine, I don't think he actually impales anybody in that movie other than Sabretooth.
So we would have gotten Logan 8 years earlier.
I think it would have been better than Logan, but I got my own personal opinion with that Logan stuff.
So George Washington in the 300 style was George Washington get his ass kicked until the very, very last battle.
It's interesting too how you would do that because Washington was the wooden teeth and that gray wig. He wasn't the leading from the front kind of warrior that Leonidas was. So.
But if you're making a propaganda movie,
exactly,
you
turn
years
George
later,
Washington.
Yeah,
you turn him into a warrior, and you have Arnold Schwarzenegger play him.
He made that I Was the Ghoul movie, so he could have an eagle on George Washington's shoulder doing cool.
Oh,
shit.
He would. Oh, Zach. Oh,
I guess that's kind of Gunn did that with
the crossing of the Delaware. It's we're totally getting that scene, that version, that 300 Washington movie.
George Washington got his ass kicked many, many times in the Revolutionary War.
Yeah, not in the
Zombies
version.
Zombies George Washington did get his ass kicked in the Civil War a few times though too, Clint. I'm with you. I know what you're talking about, man. I get it.
Yeah, not the 300 version though.
The guy's a good bad guy in this movie.
Yeah.
All right, Ruth. Catch you later.
Yeah, see you later, Ruth. Yeah. Oh, it's definitely gonna be lively. Did William lose his connection? He'll be back on in a minute, I'm sure. George Washington with an 8-pack would be crazy. Yeah, that's what's gonna happen in that. It's gonna be Washington with a shirt off for 90% of the movie, and he's gonna have the bar.
I think
the body.
I think Drogo solved the whole thing. Have Hugh Jackman play George Washington in this movie you guys want.
Yeah.
Boom.
Which again, there's no way Zach would not do the crossing of the Delaware in live action. With Washington perched up like that, just leading the way, and yeah.
Like if they had to do Steppenwolf without all of the different stylized way of doing it. This guy looks like Steppenwolf, you see what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
If we weren't making CGI,
because they make him look more alien in the movie than he does. He has more of a human kind of face in the comics.
Yeah. Did you see that, William?
No, I just came back in. Where are we at?
The section, the essay scene on the pillar with Leonidas' wife.
Is somebody watching baseball in the background?
I hear it too.
Not me.
Yeah, my parents are watching it. I'll just mute. Sorry.
No worries, man.
Sorry.
My dad's deaf, so he has to turn it way loud. I have the door shut and everything, man.
By the way, and who was it? Who brought up? Because somebody brought up in the chat that he brought up. Atheist Neil said Zach wanted to do George Washington movie in the style of 300, and I mentioned, if Zach ever did that, if you ever got the chance to do that, there's no way we're not getting like the crossing of the Delaware recreated in live action.
Monsters and shit.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's how. That's the loss of Dilio Sai. That's where he. That's
where's your timestamp at?
122:44.
Oh, perfect. Thanks.
I love that attitude. It's like I lost an eye, but the gods saw fit to grace me with a spare.
So 122?
Yeah, well, now it's 123.10.
You said you're watching on Amazon, William, or you got the Blu-ray?
I have it digitally from the. I have the Blu-ray, but I got the digital download that came with it.
Ultraviolet or whatever.
Yeah.
Exactly. No retreat, no surrender. See what I did there.
I mean, we have a Zack Snyder war movie coming up soon here too, so.
You're talking about Scargiver?
Huh? So it'll be interesting to see if we get any or homage scenes or build up from what we've seen in this.
Yeah.
They do have close range. They use
by the way, also
that's right. So
yeah. By the way, everybody, also the if you hadn't seen the the second issue of the Rebel Moon prequel comic just dropped this week, so I'll definitely be talking about that tonight. Not yet. I'm gonna pull that up tonight, but I'll be giving that. I'll be talking about that tonight on the stream. Yeah, it just dropped on Wednesday. But yeah, we're just 2 months away now from Scargiver too.
Invincible's next month, so we got something to hold us over. The rest of the season is next month. Hopefully, they fucking fix that animation.
Yeah,
it was cheap as hell this year.
Speaking of war movies, Dune 2 is going to be hell's going to be unleashed in that movie.
Yeah,
that's just in a couple weeks. That's like next week, actually, ain't it?
Yeah, we were just talking about that last night, William and I, because of course, he's and some of the early reactions for it are like one of the ones we pulled up. Somebody said that a lot of the early reactions are all describing it as like akin to like a religious experience.
So like the hype movies, Brad.
No, that wasn't me. That was
no. I didn't say. I didn't say you. I said people like to hype movies, and then I said Brad. Like,
well, no, the early reactions from the premiere, people are really liking it. So, yes, Butler is a great shouter. That's why he was so perfect for Leonidas.
But I mean, if they follow the book, oh my God, what's going to happen in this movie?
And they actually, they actually are pretty. This last movie ended kind of right towards the middle of the book. They didn't do some of the intros from the book, but I think it's done well. It's way better than that old one they did. That veers off pretty quickly.
The old Dune, it may have veered off, but it got the gist right.
till the ending, I would say. And then it's kind of.
No, he actually becomes that at the end of the movie or
Talking
in the
about
books.
Yeah, because I'm
Talking
not
about the
I'm
rain.
not super I'm not a scholar on Doom, but I mean, from my understanding, is that Paul Atreides is kind of an asshole in it.
No, I'm talking about the rain, Clint. You know what I'm saying? That would have a way drastic effect on Arrakis. So, and I mean, later on in the storyline, it does get water.
Well, in the books, Arrakis turns green.
Way later. And it has to be made ready for it.
And it's killing off the worms, and everyone's afraid. Oh my God, where's all the spice going to come from?
Exactly. I hope they do the first 3 books as a series, at least. All storyline.
Yeah. Let's pull this up. Spidey, are you reading Joker Year 1 storyline in Batman 142, 143 Great Edition of the Joker origin story plus some awesome artwork?
No, I'm not. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, I think well, yeah.
Like it though, huh? Definitely check that out, Dan. It gets played up a lot, but the Joker is one of my favorites.
Yeah.
They had the sequel on at the same time on HBO Max or Max. Brad was on. That wasn't too long ago.
How about 300? The second 300?
Yeah, The Rise of an Empire.
Yeah, well, neither one of them are on there now.
And the other, I forget what the other story he wanted to tell, but he got the rights back for the one he wanted to do.
Yeah, it was the Alexander the Great one. He got the rights back to that. Yeah, there was. Although now it's like apparently like he got the rights to that back, but also like Zach could. Like
you can't make it a 300 story, but you can't stop. They don't have copyright on history, so he could tell a very similar story.
So he could doing this with Netflix. Like he wouldn't be able to tie it in with 300, but he could still just do like just sever the connections and do the Alexander story otherwise.
Daniel, I like Chip Zdarsky a lot. Some of his shit in Batman's pretty ridiculous, but I really like his Daredevil, and some of this new Batman he's been writing is pretty cool. So I'll check that story out. But if you ever get a chance, Brad, and I don't know if Daniel or anybody else has read it, Chip Zdarsky's run on Daredevil's some really good stuff.
Okay. Yeah, I'll give that a look. I don't think I've read any.
It's more recent, so it's not as far back as Frank Miller, but some of your favorite characters have some nice role reversals and things like that, Brad, so you might actually dig it.
Okay.
This is what got her Queen Cersei, I'm telling you. She's a great actress.
Yeah. And she does, she doesn't age, Lena Headey. I mean, and you can, whatever you change her. I mean, look at her in Dread. It's
yeah,
like, even when she's ugly, she's gorgeous.
One of William's favorite shows he likes to bring up is the Sarah Connor Chronicles, and she's Sarah
Oh
Connor.
Yeah, she was a great Sarah Connor on that. Like I was legit thinking like, oh man, how's anybody gonna live up to Linda Hamilton? But she was actually really, really awesome as Sarah Connor, Lena Headey.
She's a way higher class actress than me. She's a good actress, yo. You've not seen Game of Thrones, Brad? You never saw
it? I've taken that journey with a friend of mine, but I'm not like an expert.
No, I get it. But I'm just saying, so you got to appreciate her at her craft. Like she's amazing in that shit.
I actually remember during the 2016 election, there was this one ad that somebody on the Clinton campaign got fired when they put this out. it said something to the effect of like, vote for Hillary Clinton because she has like all the leadership and moral character of Cersei Lannister, and everybody just collectively went, oh, God. you gotta research this stuff better, guys.
Not a good look.
Somebody got fired for that one.
Shame. I wish Dredd had done better. I really enjoyed that movie.
Yeah, she's an awesome villain. Lena Headey's an awesome villain in that.
A movie's just good all the way around. Like I said, I'm not big on one.
And it has the same plot as the Raid.
That and the Dread. That's what I'm saying. Raid and Dread are my two one building movies I prefer. I like. I usually don't like one building movies. And yeah, Clint, the shame scene is classic. Classic.
I still say the only thing that made Game of Thrones somewhat interesting after the first few seasons was the White Walkers.
Oh, here's some trivia too, also from Amazon. Warner Brothers is hoping for a gross in the region of Sin City's 74. Oh, yeah, he just got shanked, and all his bribe money is going to fall out here. But Warner Brothers was hoping for a gross in the region of Sin City's 74 million. They were somewhat surprised when it finished with a total just it did better. Well, they're getting it wrong here when they said a total just over 200 million. No, it made like it made 456 here on Wikipedia. So it did. It blew their expectations out of the water. It also says over 600 costumes are made for the film. I'm just amazed too. Like, again, it's like Zack knows how to get the most bang for his buck out of his budget, because this was filmed in 60 days with a budget of 65 million, and it looks like it costs like what one of his Justice League movies would.
There's that use of color. That's that use of color I like that so much matches the book without being exactly the same.
This is so cool too, to see the Spartans like all in the kind of the they bring all their shields together and they're in the kind of this cage of their own shields.
So we got to holler at William about his military expertise. What do you think about this tactic that they're? I know it's a movie tactic, William, but give us your opinion. We're fighting against ranged warriors. We're at a fight scene here. 130, or I'm at 134.39 ish.
Hold on, I'm just a minute behind.
They made the phalanx that's kind of covered on the top as well.
Well, that's an adapted formation that's been used since those times. You use that in cavalry, you use that in air formations, you use that, because it eventually splits the enemy up and creates two fronts that you can fight on. Especially if you're undermanned. If you're undermanned, you use it to minimize the full frontal damage that can be done by an enemy that outnumbers you. So, but yeah, they use that in army. They use that in basically infantry formations and basically tank formations. Usually we don't use it as much because there's not too many full frontal assaults that the United States carries out to where we don't have the massive manpower advantage. So, but it can be used in that fashion.
I'm not a military guy, but man, it's scary what we can do.
Yeah.
It is scary.
Yeah, that's why there hasn't been a world war since.
Well, that's why every time William talks about if we had a civil war in this country, how that would last like a week at most.
That would be basically entertainment for the side that chose the right side, which is Uncle Sam's side. You guys would basically be in for the entertainment of watching the whatever percentage that thought it was smart die. You literally watch.
I don't think it's entertaining to see any massive amount of your fellow countrymen die, but I see what you're saying.
But no,
No,
it would become that way because you know what?
Yeah.
The people who pick the winning side, they're not going to view those people as humans. They're just going to be like, you dummies, you know, and they're going to be, wow, that guy just died spectacularly.
Hell, I think a
well-equipped
well-equipped police force would be able to stop a civil war.
What's up?
A well-equipped police force would stop a civil war.
Yeah, it like I said, it would literally, somebody would monetize that, and they would be like, wow, you know. And like I said, the kid would have his Xbox or his whatever, his PlayStation on one table and his little drone on the other, and he would literally be playing his video game while he's killing insurrectionists and Civil War people. That's how easy that would be. But it'll never happen because, like I said, once Jethro gets his 4 or 5 people together and decides he wants to go on a march, he's going to see an Apache longbow, and that's going to be it.
So the stylized arrows here, William, do you think they'd actually have any they'd actually be useful?
I couldn't tell you because I never, I never really had any experience with anything like that. Artillery would be like the closest thing that we would have used in that manner, and it would be, there's no precision.
These arrowheads themselves,
I don't know. I couldn't tell you because there's a lot of stuff Zach did in this movie that was for stylized entertainment and not necessarily function, and I don't know enough to be like,
well, now here
that wouldn't work.
Now here though, this is another thing from history when when Leonidas tells FALTs, may you live forever. I mean, that's the worst thing you could say to another Spartan, because their
mission is to die.
Their mission is to sacrifice themselves for their countrymen. It's like, I mean, this is equivalent to telling him go to hell.
Die with glory.
Actually, also, if you guys are familiar at all with Mr. Vega Official, it's one animator. He was actually also one of the animators on Project Justice League. If you guys wonder where that, of course, the motion comic the 4 Nerds did, which was awesome, of JL2 and 3. And he did, of course, he's put out all these animated shorts of JL2 and 3 showing different things from it. And he's also combined some of those with some of Zack's other movies, and he has this one from The Nightmare that shows it's combining JL, The Nightmare with 300, where it's I think it's I need to look at it again. I think it was the Flash throws a kryptonite spear at Superman and he cuts his cheek with it. So of course that's obviously an homage to what's about to happen here with Leonidas throwing the spear at Xerxes.
It's like Anthony has some comments he'd like pulled up. You haven't seen The Killer yet, Brad? The movie with Michael Fassbender that
No, I have not.
David Fincher did a couple months ago.
I've heard good things about it, but I haven't seen it.
It's all right, man.
Yeah, for pretty good things.
There's a fight scene in the middle of the movie I think you would appreciate. Just
I've heard people tell me that. Yeah,
it's seemingly technical, I'll say, seemingly, but there's some bullshit about it too. But but it's cool. Either way, it's cool, right? So.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you like Michael Fassbender, then he does pretty good in the movie.
Okay. Oh yeah, and another thing Zach brought back for BVS when he runs his body through the spear here to get these guys. It's exactly what Superman does against Doomsday.
Yeah. It's to a different effect, but it's the same action, the same idea played out differently. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. So you can see some of it would be interesting in Rebel Moon or a hypothetical Justice League 2 or any other kind of epic he does, what he kind of picked up from this. Maybe even just looking back at the the history lesson. How many similarities are there? You know.
Yeah, exactly. Well, what big one is that that Zeus, I mean, clearly looks a lot like Leonidas.
Yeah, or the size, like we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, again, like the force perspective on the Olympians. Yeah. But I remember the first time I saw that, thinking like, did they bring back Gerard Butler for Zeus?
Vince, when you say sounds coming through, is that like background noise, or are you saying sound from the movie? We don't want to get William taken down off his charity stream. So.
He said, Nick says, I had a friend that jumped up in the theater when this part happened. She didn't even want to go. Are you talking about when they all get speared? Yeah. Look at Mr. Vegas Official on Instagram, guys. That guy's doing some pretty awesome animation of JL 2 and 3 stuff, particularly with the Nightmare. It's pretty damn awesome what that guy's doing. So keep it up, my man. William was Sister King. Well, I think we're gonna have to wait till William comes back for that one. Yeah, I think I'll bring up your comments in when William steps back in.
Where are we at on the William? Where are we at on the why are we here today?
We are here to raise money for the American Foundation from Suicide Prevention, and we are at 7,250 still. So
Excellent.
The next donation puts us past for where we were, further than we entered in.
By the way, a little bit of adding some historical context to it's like Leonidas. He was not the last Spartan to survive, by the accounts of how it all went down, but he was the he did survive to the final day of the battle.
If you want to go real life, historians don't even know why he went out there to fight this. This is not the Spartan style of fighting. Because the Spartan style of fighting is more like our special forces. They send a few people out to kill somebody.
I can't tell if you're being facetious there or not, man.
No, I'm not. I'm not being facetious.
Okay.
The Spartan way of fighting was more special forces like than huge armies. And the historians don't know exactly why Leonidas formed an army as big as he did and went there.
Again, it's probably a whole thing with the glory of dying for your city-state. They all.
One of you guys mentioned earlier that it was not just the Spartans here either. It was others.
Yeah, they had other city-states volunteer too. Yeah. So it was 300 Spartans, but you also had the Arcadians and some of the other Greek city-states chipping in. And when they show up, the Spartans are saying it's like they chip in, they do their part. They're brawlers, they're not warriors, but they're okay. Check us out with our cool red capes, and it's like how just ripped we are. It's like we're the stars of this story.
I mean, part of the Spartan military to kind of graduate, they had to sneak out, not get caught, kill a slave, and sneak back.
Yeah, and if the training in the Agoge was they would when they would have to steal or do stuff like that, they if they got caught, they got punished, but they weren't being punished for what they were doing. They were being punished for getting caught.
Right. So they were more special forces than huge army.
Yeah. Is this any Death of Superman BVS imagery similarities here, guys?
Yeah.
With Leonidas? I don't know.
Maybe Batman will be laid out like that when he.
Yeah, when he sacrifices himself in the final battle, against Darkseid, yeah.
Probably he'll die by what you call it though, Omega Beam. So probably not. Well, who knows?
Yeah, not full of arrows, but yeah, it would. Well, I'm sure he would. Zack would want to recreate the the Final Crisis, like Superman carrying Batman image.
Then you got to do the Radion bullet, and then we got to take Batman into the past because he's a time bomb. Because we didn't really use the Omega beams, we used the Omega sanction. We didn't use the Omega effect. We used the Omega sanction, so that it's different because he was trying to destroy the multiverse by using Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
And the New 52 starts all around this time, and Darkseid's a little baby.
Yeah.
Clint, would you watch a 300 musical remake?
Sure, if it caused someone else's pain.
Well, I wouldn't mind that anywhere near as much as I would mind Scary Movie. So there you go. It wouldn't cost me pain.
Brad, you have paid for my donation in way more than I could ever imagine.
One of these days we're gonna pull up something you hate.
My Little Pony.
Don't mess with Rainbow Bright.
And that's 300, everybody. Also got this. We got the end credits here. It's pretty cool because, and of course, Zack is kind of more known for his awesome, his really inventive opening credits sequences. But so kind of applied that more to the end here, but still, it's very
well, it's in the style of the comic.
It's bringing basically the imagery from the graphic novel to the screen here.
Nick. Yeah, shout out Larry Fong for 4th.
Yeah. He was on what was he on with Zack? He was on 300. He was on Sucker Punch. He was on Watchmen. He was on BVS. Yeah, I think that was everything. He was Zack's DP on.
And just like this movie, BVS is a fucking.
I'll look out for Cora's Jesus pose. You mean in the next in the Rebel 2. Yeah, I can see that. Really Nice is also 60 and not the like Rod Butler. No, he's not.
Even though East is the Jesus parallel, right? She's the Jesus symbolism.
I was watching 2 friars or priests reacting to Wonder when they said the scene where she had her arms extended all the way out when she was flying is basically the crucifixion of Jesus. Yeah, I mean, it's like anytime you
see it in a lot of movies.
See that kind of obviously they did play with Superman.
Yeah, on Superman Returns they did it twice.
When you put a character making a sacrifice in that kind of pose, it's obviously meant to be a a Christ figure kind of pose. It's funny in real life. Historically, they lost this fight and offered less freedom. Yeah, again, Spartan propaganda. Yep, agree. Love 300.
So 300 musical remake next week.
Yeah. So yeah, where did William go though? So you have to. That Two Priests react channel is pretty good. I'm not familiar with that actually. You go ahead and share that in the chat, Vince. Yeah, so I can look it up. Or is it called Two Friars, like Anthony said? Yeah, I think we're waiting for William to just hop back on here. But let me go ahead and check where we're sitting on the charity right now. Yes, we are. Yeah, we're sitting at 772.50 right now. But that's so much fun. It's so much fun just seeing that green bar just so far past that little orange dot we had for our $5,000 goal we established. And of course, we can't thank you guys enough for your generosity. Even if it sometimes comes at my expense and mental well-being, and the fact that some of you like scary movie despite all its flaws and being terrible and all that. Okay, so we just wrapped up the movie, William.
Okay, so we'll continue this fundraising thing later on this evening.
What is next? Are we doing another Snyder movie next week?
I have to decide because there's only. I mean, you have
what?
You have two
scary movie.
Yeah, we got to rip that Band-Aid off at some point.
Who knows? That might be it. Who knows? Because like I said, I don't feel like doing Sucker Punch, and Man of Steel is the only other one we could probably do Man of Steel again.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we never did Man of Steel.
Yeah, we haven't done Man of Steel yet.
Yeah, we'll probably do Man of Steel next week.
Well, when we got to get through. We got to get Scary Movie out of the way. So.
We could probably do that next Friday afternoon. Sometime.
Okay. Yeah. God help me.
Don't have a last minute belt test on us now, Brad, during the scary movie watching.
Oh, I know. It'd be so terrible if that were to happen.
Hey, Erin has our suggestion. She's thinking she wants to maybe see Rise of an Empire next week.
Yeah, the second 300. Yeah. Which I mean, Zack didn't direct that, but of course that was
we saw Army of Thieves, right? I mean,
it's tied into his franchise, so yeah.
Yeah, he executive produced Army of Thieves. I don't think he had anything to do. Did he have anything to do with the?
I think they wrote the story on 300 Rise of an Empire.
Yeah, he had the story credit, but he was.
Him and Frank Miller wrote it together, I think, or something like that.
Yeah. I like Sucker Punch, but yeah, it's also of course Zack wants to get his the Snyder cut of that out for the world to see too.
The Snyder Punch.
Yeah, the Snyder Punch has a spin phrase. Yeah. This would be so horrible if I were to get injured in between.
We definitely have to postpone it into your recovery. I think Clint would definitely appreciate it more if you were involved.
Brad, it's kind of ironic that when people talk about the battle between the Spartans and the Persians, they always talk about. I think you mean the Spartans, not the Spans, who lost the battle, not the winners. Yeah. Well, again, because they got the Persians, it was a Pyrrhic victory because they win, but it's like they get their butts kicked by such a fighting force that's at such a disadvantage. So yeah, that's why you talk about the Spartans more, because it's like, yeah, they lose, but they still just they spend most of that battle just handing the Persians asses to them.
Well, yeah, and they crippled them to the point where they could no longer, fight on, and left the Persians open to other enemies that ended up coming along.
I think Vince is kind of saying it the best here, though, right?
300 is a good movie, but documentary it's not trying to be a documentary.
Nah, it's literally a fantastical. It's copy panel per panel from Frank Miller's book, which is basically not based in the kind of reality that you're thinking. It's based on the story, but not
if you did as a documentary, you would not be rooting for the Spartans at all. You wouldn't be rooting for any of these guys. You would be rooting for the Spartans or the Persians. So you'd be absolutely horrified by both societies by today's standards would be committing atrocities.
Pretty much. All right, I think that's a good place to wrap it up because we're going to be back on the air in about 4 hours. So
sounds good.
Continue to share the link, and we will see if we can get a little bit further along this afternoon or this evening at 8 o'clock. Because like I said, we'll be on the air for haven't made a final decision on my. I know I could. I only got 4 hours, and there's more shit you could smear on Crisis Infinite Earth than 4 hours to allow. Plus, we got other topics.
Don't forget all the shit that came, but like New 52 to Rebirth to New Front or Infinite Frontier to Dark Crisis.
4 hours isn't enough.
Like every 2 years is like what
4 hours might not be enough. Plus, we're gonna, like I said, I got 2 particular topics that are like going to be predicated by hard band, and I'm not fucking around tonight. No, we're not going to be loose with the band list tonight because there's a lot of stupid shit out there, and it's like with flies. It's like there's one thing, and then there's what somebody tries to make things into, and it's like, come on, man, let's rub 2 brain cells together and do better. So I'm going to help. I'm going to help by we're not using certain terminology tonight.
Well, when we get the panel on, I'm sure it'll be fun to monitor that.
Be sure to trademark it, William.
No, but yeah, it's I just listen. I do this show. The only reason why I'm doing this in one way is not to have the stupid conversation that's being had everywhere else. There are so many other places where you can go bounce the same dumb terminology and the same dumb distortions of any story you can. There's a whole bunch of places, and they're all doing great. I got control of this one, so we're gonna do this. Like I said, we're gonna cut the shit and actually have a productive conversation. And if we can't, then those people can fight each other in the chat, but they're not going to end up on the screen. And I'm not gonna. It'd be a lot easier for me to ignore them that way. What's going on, dude?
Totally off topic, and I don't know if we'll get to it during the thing. But we got 1 day left. Do you have any last minute theories on what the story's going? What the hell's going on?
Not any more than I had last week. I think Clint's what he said was as sound a theory as I have as far as the son being it, and that's when his father's like, I didn't kill him. When he looks at him like that, I think the father was protecting his son, and the son, realizes this could be unraveling, and he's got to take out all the other person.
Who do you guys think that Peter took down? He didn't kill the scientist, you think, right?
That
Peter's
I don't know.
Son. I think the cleaning ladies and the ladies, because they were the cleaning ladies and they worked at the
I think that something is in the water that caused them.
That too. I think there's a lot of stuff connected. There's a shit ton connected, but I think it was either the cleaning ladies or I think Navarro has a split personality thing going on with mental health issues.
Yeah, that's definitely. It's all. It's like I said, they left it open for every.
Well, this is our last day. Once it's out, whatever the hell we're saying now doesn't even.
Yeah, that's true. We got like less than 24 hours.
Yeah.
All right, guys. See you tonight.
All right.
Later, guys.